Welcome, everybody. This is the rapid fire question and answer with the Nootropic reviewer. To start off, a lot of people ask me what's new with me, what's new in my stack, and so that's what I want to. That's what I'll spend a little bit of time talking about. First, um, I've not talked too much about phosphatidylserine. This is from Nootropics Depot, but it's one of the only supplements out there that can actually decrease cortisol levels, bump energy levels. It's fairly safe as well. So I really like taking phosphatidylserine. Just let's say it's the end of the day. I'm a little bit stressed out, a little bit fatigued, but I want to put in a couple hours more of work. I'll use some phosphatidylserine and I'll use 500 milligrams of L-Tyrosine. So these soft, I think they're like soft gels. They're really good. 556 milligrams of the PS Green, phosphatidylserine, 100 milligrams. Good stuff. Phosphatidylserine, like it a lot. I'll share with you what else is new with me. What's up, guys? Let me know what your question is. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you'd like to learn about nootropics. This live stream is for you and about educating you. And the people that actually tune into these live streams, man, you will learn so much. It will save you months, even years on your journey of learning about nootropics. I've been taking nootropics for a damn long time. Still love them. Have made a massive difference for me. One sec, guys. I'll get to your questions. What else is new? Gorilla Mode. I've been using some of their pre-workout products. They've got not only, of course, the stimulant form, because most pre-workouts they have a high amount of caffeine, so they've got that. But they also do have a nice product which is more like for pumps. It's stimulant free, but they do have a great amount of all the common ingredients you're going to need to build muscle and lose fat. Those include citrulline malate. We got some creatine. What else we got here? Agmatine sulfate. This is some pretty good stuff. So discount code below. And then very cool, Fresh Cap, which they sent me out their newer products. So Fresh Cap is like the leading, I think, brand when it comes to all mushroom nootropics. Lion's mane, turkey tail. They've got everything. And so just give me one sec. Sorry if the audio was kind of loud. The ultimate mushroom complex, pretty damn cool. They've got maitake extract, chaga, turkey tail, reishi, cordyceps, and lion's mane. Of those, I only like lion's mane. I don't really notice the other things doing too much. That's just my experience. But what you guys do know about me and this channel is that I will tell you the truth. And if I haven't reviewed a product, it's probably because it didn't work for me. Speaking of which, next week I've got a video coming out on bromantane. Many of you have asked me about that. Can it really increase motivation levels permanently? I don't know. Stay tuned for that video. And what's up? What is up, Mr. Will? Thanks for being a long-time subscriber. I appreciate you. How long does it take for Aniracetam to work? Great question, Ben. For me, it takes a couple of weeks. I had noticed though that when I was taking Aniracetam for a considerable amount of time, the moment I got off of it, like missed a couple of days, my anxiety like spiked higher. It wasn't withdrawals. It's just that I got accustomed to this unusual level of not feeling anxious in like a social context, more so. How much does it work for memory? If you're referring to Aniracetam, not too much. When it comes to memory and Racetam, it's strange because it's like every little thing helps, but it's not a major difference. It's not like a 1% difference, maybe a 5% difference. It's hard to quantify. You can just tell when all cylinders are working well. And for me, what that looks like is Prastam, Aniracetam, Oxiracetam, and Pramiracetam. Those four are great. And if you really want to take your memory to another level, while at the same time being mindful that this nootropic can demotivate you, you can take Bacopa Mineri, which I love for stress. I'm one of the only people that like really responds to Bacopa. I'm so grateful because like Bacopa, rhodiola rosea, I mean, I feel them instantly. I'm super sensitive to the stuff. So 300 milligrams of Bacopa and 300 milligrams of rhodiola rosea, like right in the afternoon, really helps for fatigue, brings my energy levels higher. Of course, I took some earlier today. And yeah, feeling good. What's your experience with NAC? For those of you who are unaware, it's N-acetylcysteine, and this is a nootropic which does some funny things to for some people. It can reduce OCD-like symptoms. Some people it helps them with sleep. Some people it blunts appetite. For me, it really doesn't do too much. I tried taking it pre-workout for a pretty long time, expecting that it may help my pre-workout ingredients just be more effective. I don't know if it did that. I haven't purchased it again. It's not too expensive, which is a good thing about it. So that one, it's really nootropic, in which it will depend on the individual. Ashwagandha, is that a question? Ashwagandha, I built my channel making videos on modafinil, which then transformed to making videos on ashwagandha. That's what everyone wants to do. And if you want to make a supplement channel, talk about ashwagandha, you'll get a lot of views. But I think I've covered like my experience taking it. What is it? Since 2014, 2015, being off of it, being on it. Long story short, I think, ashwagandha would not be in my top 5 nootropics. I think it's great for calmness, but when it comes to productivity, it's not really going to help for a lot of people. Why is the Racetam? I do not know. How would you say TRT works as a nootropic? In whichever ways you think it would, it's exactly how it feels. I was kind of on TRT, you can say, but not for 6 months, just for a few months. I got to know how it feels. It is crazy. I mean, from the moment you take your first, you could say, dose of TRT, alertness, awareness, increased energy levels. You feel mentally sharp. You're courageous. It's if there's a limitless pill, it would be TRT. I hate to say it, but that does come along with a little bit of like distractible behavior, also anger, temper. You need less sleep. That was something I loved about just being on testosterone for a short amount of time. Like within like 6 hours of sleep, you wake up energized, like ambitious, excited. It's a nice feeling. Greetings, only DNE. I'm very interested in Mucuna Pruriens over L-Tyrosine. What's your thoughts? Sorry about that. Any side effects? Also, what is your favorite dopamine supplements to drive you to get things done? I need motivation too. Mucuna Pruriens you can try, but I know very few people that actually use it long term. Like they stick to it. Yes, it's in Quality of Mind, which is interesting, worth talking about. So they've got that there, but they also do have L-Tyrosine. For the users of Mucuna Pruriens that actually like it, L-Dopa, they ingest it and they notice that it lasts throughout the whole course of the day, or it lasts for more time, but you really don't feel anything. I wouldn't say subtle. It's like I didn't notice much from it, so I wouldn't be taking it. L-Tyrosine, you feel it. You feel alert. You feel energetic. You feel like you feel kind of in similar ways to caffeine in that it bumps anxiety like a bit, but it will increase concentration, alertness. You'll be focused. You'll be able to get a good 90 minutes of work done. And L-Tyrosine works especially in like high stress environments. Let's say if you're fatigued, you're short on sleep, you're hungry, that's a great time to take L-Tyrosine. You'll surely notice something, but not long term. It's not like you're going to be taking L-Tyrosine every single day and start to see it build up in your system. It's more like for those emergency kind of scenarios. Hope that answers your question. Can you take tyrosine daily without cycling? That's a great question, Dusty. For me, I can. I'm still sensitive to the stuff. It still works just as I want it to, even if I take like 500 to 750 milligrams. Though worst that can happen for some people is headaches. That's fairly common with L-Tyrosine. But if you have had headaches as a symptom, try taking it from a different brand, because that worked for me. And I also did notice that I was getting headaches when I took it in the powder form, but when I switched to capsules, I was feeling much better. I definitely felt like smoother. I was referring to the PS for the memory. Yeah, that's a great question. So Will J. Moore asked, how effective is phosphatidylserine with memory? It's really good when you're sleep deprived. During the time I think I was working the most, between selling houses, doing exams to have my license, and then finishing off my degree, because I was in business school. What worked for me was taking phosphatidylserine and caffeine, and I would take it like 2 or 3 times a day, and it really just helped me have the same memory. Because when you're not sleeping enough and you're sleeping 4 to 5 hours a day, one of the things you notice is your short-term memory is really bad. You'll like do something, you won't remember it 10 minutes later or even 5 minutes later. So phosphatidylserine definitely helped in that way. But I think if you're sleeping well, if you're living a good lifestyle with respect to diet, exercise and all that, I don't think it'll be that good. Hi, evening, bro. What do you think works better for anxiety long-term, L-Theanine or KSM-66? I think KSM-66, I actually did make a video on that specifically, ashwagandha versus L-Theanine. I think it's the main one on my page. L-Theanine is going to be better. I mean, like we spoke about L-Tyrosine and being good for those emergency scenarios. That's where I see L-Theanine too. Of like, you notice it. It's not subtle. It's pretty powerful stuff. Even like for me, even a small dose of like 50 milligrams of L-Theanine, I can feel too calm to the point that it stops me from working or even thinking of my tasks. I need to really just get more focused with it. KSM-66, use it for a couple weeks. It's nice. It's saturating your system. You're feeling good. It doesn't matter too much if you take it in the morning or you take it at night. The important thing is you get it twice a day I think that's great. Some people like it pre-workout if they notice it does increase their testosterone levels. That isn't the case for me. I like taking it once in like the late afternoon, and then I take Shodan, which is a different form of ashwagandha, right before I sleep. I notice that one does nicely calm me down. Ashwagandha demotivates me. Hell yeah. Maca worked better for me than ashwagandha did. For what specifically? Is it testosterone you're speaking about? Then yes, I would imagine that. What nootropics feels the most like TRT? For me, Tribulus, I still love it. Tonkat Ali, not really. I didn't notice Tonkat Ali give me some of the cognitive benefits. Like with Tribulus, when I take it, I mean, I just got some now. I'm super excited from Now Sports, and it's like you feel aggressive. It's a nice feeling. What's a great nootropic for brain development? For brain development, I think Prastam's pretty good just because it makes you first want to learn. And then when it comes to learning, retention, thinking, planning, being okay with just being alone and learning, I think Prastam's great. What do you think about Kratom? I'm so glad that you asked. I've been using that. This is a form by Pure Kratom, so Purkratom. They sent me this product, very kind of them. And serving size 2 to 3 capsules. I'm actually really liking this stuff. I'm only using it on days when I take too many stimulants. Like let's say I took a pre-workout and I have actually noticed it has slightly decreased anxiety levels and increased my happiness. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll do a product review or talk about Kratom more so in more depth, because it does get a pretty bad rep, as people say there's negative side effects. I've not personally experienced any, but it may not be a nootropic that you would stick to long term. So those are my thoughts, and stay tuned for that. And best supplement for memory, best supplement for motivation, anything not too demotivating. Best supplement for memory, I think we covered that. So when it comes to motivation itself, it's still going to be caffeine. Like caffeine is a game changer. Just use it strategically. Throw your L-Theanine. For you, Will J. Moore, I would just abandon anything that can be slightly demotivating. I'm talking ashwagandha, bacopa, lion's mane, perhaps if you feel it. Definitely L-Theanine. Get those, just like throw those in the garbage or put them to one side, and then use caffeine strategically. If you work out, definitely take some caffeine and L-Tyrosine pre-workout, and then using L-Tyrosine throughout the course of your day. Depending on what kind of work you do, L-Tyrosine can increase anxiety a little bit, but using like 750 milligrams to 1 gram in the later portion of the day does really help with energy and concentration and all that. What's up, Fallon's Fox? Good to see you here. I keep hearing about 9-MeBC. Does it have side effects? I don't know. I've not personally tried it yet. I hear some people talk about it. Perhaps if more of you ask for a review on it, then I may make a video. Any take on intranasal Noopept versus standard Noopept? I liked it more, but I don't know if I liked it more because it was more effective. It's a nice sensation, like putting something just to kind of clean your nose and cleaning that nasal pathway. So did it work better? I don't necessarily think so. I think it was similar to taking the Noopept under the tongue, which is how I do recommend taking it. If you are ingesting Noopept, you can get the capsules, of course. Nootropics Depot has them in 10 milligrams and 30 milligrams, but you can also get the powder form and just put it a little bit under your tongue, and it's good. Hey, Mike, my doctor actually decided to start me on Concerta. I took 18 milligrams this morning, and I reacted well to it. Wicked. So with my experience with Concerta was I used it when I was a student too, and 27 milligrams really worked. Like, there is no doubt you will get things done. You'll be more focused. You'll be more productive. You'll make more money. I think Concerta would just make you better at everything except for having relationships. And I noticed with Concerta just a really bad side effect. It really hurt my physique. I did not. I was still working out, but I noticed I would get like an odd temptation to binge eat every here and there. My desire to eat sugary foods or oily foods, that increased too. And it can blunt appetite, but really good for concentration. And what got me to like really just stop taking Concerta altogether, like I'm never going to take it again, was when I took a break from it. And I stopped. I was only taking 27 milligrams of Concerta for I think 3 months straight. I stopped, and then for a good 2 weeks, it was horrible. Social isolation, and not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to talk to people, slower thinking, demotivated, like just the worst feeling. Wouldn't want anyone to have it. And Fallon's Fox, hopefully you have a good journey with Concerta, because then again, there are some people that respond well to it and keep it for the rest of their life. Best nootropic is one ages like over 60 and over, gang. Resveratrol seems pretty good. Alpha lipoic acid, that one seems good. Pomegranate, make sure just I think at your stage, Kim, or for whomever you're mentioning, diet is really going to be key. So make sure that for every calorie you are consuming, it is filled with micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, all that. Have you tried SEMAX? Yes, I tried SEMAX. Good for motivation. I don't think it is too different than taking Noopept. Actually, if you have access to Noopept, I really wouldn't bother with SEMAX. I've not seen many people say it's like extraordinary. I did notice that with Noopept, I build a little bit of a tolerance. With SEMAX, not so much. So that was pretty cool. David asks, what's your take on Adderall and Noopept combo? So I've not personally used Adderall, but I did use Noopept while I was taking Concerta. It's hard to really say. I probably I mean, I got a lot done. Like my results were good, but looking back, was Noopept really responsible for that increase of productivity? Probably not. Can you upload this live? Yeah, absolutely. And then I'll get timestamps done, but probably not until sometime tomorrow. But that is the plan. Thanks again for the prizes. I feel so spoiled. Yeah, cool. Balance Fox, of course, won some gifts because he answered one of the questions right in our last live stream that we did, our giveaway. Maybe we'll do more of those. It was a lot of fun. What does your diet look like? So I practice nothing special. There's no magic to it, but I practice intermittent fasting, not because it's the best thing to do, really because it helps me be like productive. Like once you try the 1 or 2 meals a day thing and you notice like how much time was wasted in the day thinking about food, wondering what to eat next, taking breaks for food, it's like I'm just eating like a king in the evening and I like it. But in the morning, what I typically do is I do take a pre-workout supplement. I take some post-workout protein and that just helps with muscle recovery, make sure my cortisol levels aren't like jacked. And then I'll use a bit of caffeine if I need to blunt my appetite. And it works for me. I know I can get kind of anxious. I can get, I can get in like a fight or flight mode, but I use that to my advantage and I stay calm and I stay aggressive and helps me be a go-getter. But as far as my diet and the actual, I mean, that's just the schedule. As far as the stuff I'm consuming, I'm rarely eating out. I'll eat out twice a week, which is a stretch for me. Growing up, I think in my 20s, there was a period where I would eat out like 3 to 4 times a year. I would really try to avoid like family, just social scenarios in which we're eating out, just eating clean. I'm talking every carb would be intentional about making sure it's a fibrous carb, like brown rice, oatmeal, quinoa. That was my thing. And then always getting like a lean source of protein. Protein is great. Like even just with respect to like the nootropic properties, like the amino acid profile in like chicken breast, egg whites, turkey, whatever you eat, it will make you focus more. So if you're not eating enough protein, make sure you're eating enough protein. For females, it's usually going to be like 80 grams a day. For men, usually like 130 to 150 on the lower side, of course, depending on your body weight. Yeah, James, I said something like that. You got to try it. There's something called like a neti pod where you tilt your head and you can kind of like clean through your nose. So I use that every morning and it just helps you breathe a lot nicer. Yeah, I've heard the withdrawals are horrible. I'm going to do my best to stick with 18 milligrams. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I want to be a more consistent YouTuber. I feel like mentally I start over every morning instead of consistently editing and filming. Editing is stressful, but not being stressed doesn't help me film. For sure. When it comes to filming, just get it in your calendar. I typically do my filming Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's nice to have a routine, nice to have some accountability. Like my video editor just expects that I send him my Dropbox file or whatever file, and yeah, gets it done. Hugs from Brazil. Wicked. Where in Brazil are you from? Speaking of IF, best appetite suppressants. This is cool. We got a nice like diversity of questions here. I like it. Best appetite suppressants by far would be ephedrine. I don't recommend you take it, but it is a stimulant. It will raise your metabolism by like not much, like 3 to 5%. But what it really will do is it will really blunt your appetite. I mean, I remember once just for the sake of experimenting, I tried something called the I think it's PSMF, protein sparing modified fast. And you're strictly eating protein. I'm talking like just protein, no carbs, no fat. I was giving it a shot. So I was eating 800 calories a day. It was just egg whites or tuna. I mean, those are the two sources of protein where there's no fat, no carbs. And I was using ephedrine and it worked. Like I had no desire to eat anything outside of those foods, and it's pretty damn cool. So that would be the number one. There's a little story. And otherwise, green tea extract is really great. Of course, caffeine is good, and stimulants are usually going to be the ones which are helpful. And that's when you look at like fat loss pills. Many times they just have these few ingredients which are going to be responsible for lowering your appetite. 5-HTP, that's also one when it comes to carbohydrate cravings. So 5-HTP, it kind of is responsible for boosting the neurotransmitter serotonin, and as a result of serotonin increasing, very often you have a decreased desire to digest or eat carbs. Big question with Noopept. You say you take it under your tongue with capsules. I open them up and put powder under my tongue. Should I do it on an empty stomach? Not with the capsules. With the capsules, very often they have fillers in it, so I wouldn't do it with the capsules. You're better off just buying the actual powder. And if you don't believe me, just get like a scale and take a 10 milligram capsule of Noopept and put it in the scale. You'll notice it'll probably be like 40 to 50 milligrams. So that's the way I'm doing it. I'm typically buying the powder and then I'll take it under my tongue like that. Would you replace caffeine with Smart PS in your limitless stack? No, because Smart PS is not a stimulant like caffeine. Caffeine is going to be the one that's responsible for the energy, for the alertness, like the physical energy especially. And I like that caffeine that boosts your mood, gives you that like euphoria to increase your courage. It's nice. You're like 2,000,000% productive though. What's the main supplement for helping the most? Also, do they take you far away from your baseline emotionally? No, I kind of feel like myself. Like the truth is, what helps is I live alone. I have a dog. I'm not taking on the behaviors of other people. I have like just my attitude in the sense of I'm waking up, doing my morning mindset routine, getting my workout done. I have the things that I want to get done, and I have a lot of accountability in place that's making me just do more. So whether I was taking nootropics or not, I'm a pretty like ambitious person. And I think that's just the family that I grew up in. My father is one of like the best agents out there. Not only does he sell homes, but he coaches people too. So I had pretty pretty high, or they had pretty high expectations of me growing up. Your environment is key. So a lot of takeaways there. Who are the people that you're spending your time with? Think bigger, and everything that you want to, and I mean, like the success that you want to have will be easier once you actually commit to something and you stay consistent. Nobody's consistent these days. They're like switching jobs. It's funny, like in my 20s, like I was the only one that stuck to the same job for a long time. And everybody else was switching jobs, would not dedicate themselves to one industry and get better at those skills. And nothing really seemed to happen for a lot of them. Have you tried NDHGW yet? Nope, I have not. I'm going to, Oxiracetam, I'm skipping your question because I already answered it. Any lesser nootropic herbs you've had good experience with that you haven't talked about before? I think I've talked about them all, whether they're live stream or actual video, but Phosphatidylserine I mentioned as one of them. Taurine, I'm starting to like taurine a little bit for anxiety. I'll get back to you on that, Fireblaze, but nothing comes to mind now. Hey, Mike, any new thoughts on Sustach? I'm finding it great for motivation, verbal fluency, and for taking action faster than usual. That is a great question, Fallon's Fox. So I'm still liking it. I haven't changed my mind on it at all. With Sustach, it's known to boost testosterone levels, but is that? Sorry, 1 second. I'm just getting a call. Ignore that. Cool. Yeah. So any new thoughts on Sustach? No, it's feels like it doesn't really do much to boost testosterone levels, but what it does do is it helps to eliminate bad thoughts. I'm noticing I have less thoughts. I'm more present. I'm more focused. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good when I take it. So I'm going to stick with it, especially because it's pretty affordable. And I'm almost at the end of the questions. So guys, we need more questions over here. Otherwise, we're going to end this thing. The Navage works incredible for cleaning your nose. Oh, he meant NOSE, nose. Modafinil also kills my appetite. Absolutely. I think if you're on a cutting diet, modafinil, not that I recommend you take it, it's not only going to help with your workouts as far as like strength training, cardio, but as well going to blunt your appetite. Pretty powerful. Do you know how much on Mucuna and if I can expect any side effects? The side effects of Mucuna aren't talked about too much because they're not like it's not too common. With L-Tyrosine as a comparison, you get the headaches, but if anything, what people notice with Mucuna is after they're on it for a considerable amount of time and they get off of it, they feel withdrawals. They don't feel as happy. They don't feel as much drive, of course, which is never good. Robert, I'd recommend that you check out the Discord because that's what they're talking about. I think it's in the description box here. If it's not in the description box here, then it's in the description box in one of my other videos. I ordered Aniracetam for the first time. Will it work well with Adrafinil? Probably not. I think with all the phenols, they're going to overpower the racetams with the exception of phenylpiracetam. So phenylpiracetam we know as being like the stronger racetam that you would use in those emergency scenarios. Not every day. I'm using phenylpiracetam typically 2, if not 3 times per week. That's it. So with Adrafinil overpowering, with Oxiracetam, you get a little bit of an alertness spike. You're a bit more focused, a little bit more, you have a little bit more drive, but I think that's already covered with Adrafinil. Now, With this though, you see this scenario is such that if you can afford the Oxiracetam, then I would still continue taking it if you have a day when you use Adrafinil, because with Oxiracetam and most of the other Rastams, they need some time to start working, right? So let's say you're taking Oxiracetam for a week, you're not seeing the results yet, and then you use Adrafinil there afterwards. That doesn't mean you stop using Oxiracetam, even though you may not notice it working that day. It will still lead up to the cumulative effect of Oxiracetam working. But I really like Oxiracetam. I think it's great. I think it's definitely an underrated nootropic. It's just that many of the nootropics that are often talked about are the ones that are less expensive. Melatonin, long term, safe or not? I don't think it's safe. I mean, you're basically ingesting a hormone. There's no need to. So the way that I would recommend you use it is like a very, very low dose of it, and only when you absolutely need to, perhaps 2 to 3 times a week at the very most. What nootropics, if any, would you never take again? Ooh. Go to cola. I didn't like that one. I had a funny response to it. And there's so many of them which I wouldn't necessarily say I had a bad reaction to, but I don't see any need to buy them again. Like for example, Theacrine, Dynamine didn't do too much for me. Yohimbine is one that I have a love-hate kind of relationship with. It does have a good intention of using it to really lean out and get below 10% body fat, but there's sometimes when I take it and it makes me feel absolutely horrible. And no, I think if anything, there's just some nootropic blends that I purchased. Maybe they had too much L-Theanine. Maybe there was a few ingredients there that really were responsible for me like lowering like my blood sugar levels or something. And I hated those nootropic blends, unfortunately, right? Bromontane, yes, I've tried doses of 25 milligrams up to 150 milligrams. Hasn't done too much for me. I'm still experimenting with it, actually. We'll see. Can you quickly go through your daily supplement regimen? Oh boy. Okay. I could try. So caffeine, L-Tyrosine. I'll use a good pre-workout that I won't go through all the ingredients, but something like this. This is by Gorilla Mode. And then what else? I'll use taurine typically, and then in the afternoon I'll take some Bacopa Mineri, Ashwagandha. Bacopa Mineri, Rhodiola rosea. All the Rastams, if I have them that I discussed earlier, I'll typically take some Noopept, and then I'll take the same thing later on. Plus, I'll add the Ashwagandha, and then right before I sleep or before my biggest meal of the day, I'll take a multivitamin, some vitamin D, some fish oil, and then before I sleep, I'll take some Tribulus, maybe some ZMA if I have some, and perhaps if I get like a sleep nootropic blend that was sent to me, I'll use something like that. Is there any good natural alternative to caffeine? No, I just mentioned Theacrine and Dynamine. I think they're overpriced and they're not worth it. So none that I can think of. Ephedrine is a stimulant. It should do the same thing in theory as caffeine, but nowhere near as strong. Not finding Discord link. I looked at random video and website. Yeah, look at the last video there that I posted. It's definitely there in my description box. Do you recommend any nootropic to reverse pot teenage abuse? Now I'm on the 20s. Now I'm 22. Oh, that's a great question. Pramiracetam, it does have some interesting properties that perhaps can do that. It's hard to say. Bacopa Mineri, I would also look into those too. You got to just keep trying different things. The good thing about it is that you'll be pretty like sensitive to what's working and really what's not working. Where do you get? I'm already like loaded up. I've got more than enough. Plus, I use phenylpiracetam in very small doses. Like 100 milligrams of phenylpiracetam would be a high dose for me. I love Magtine L-Threonate. It's amazing to me, and I'm on my second bottle and don't want to stop with it. Magtine is a great supplement. That's an example of an underrated one. Unfortunately, it's a form of magnesium that is like way more expensive than any other form of magnesium, but it's super neat in the sense of looks like it's healthy, looks like it boosts energy, but it also at the same time improves sleep quality, decreases stress levels. Like you just feel healthy when you're on it. So Magtine is one that I really like. Forskolin. Wow, Forskolin. I'm glad you asked. Nobody talks about it, but I think it's pretty overrated. Where you'll often see Forskolin is in testosterone boosting products. Didn't notice too much of a benefit from taking it. It supposedly can be healthy for you as an anti-inflammatory. How long did TRT take to work for you? Same day, within 5 minutes. It works instantly. What would you try for public speaking anxiety? Man, just keep on public speaking. If you let's say if you're planning to talk to 20 people, just go start off small, present to somebody, present to your girlfriend, and then present to your family. Maybe it's a family of 5 people, and then present to 10 people. Be mindful of your breathing. Breathing is huge. You want to breathe from your diaphragm, not from your chest, because that will make you anxious. And as far as nootropics are concerned, L-Theanine might be good depending on how you respond to it. Some people do actually respond well to it before presentations. I like lion's mane, especially because lion's mane, it makes you less nervous. With lion's mane, you're more likely to like take the perspective of, this is good. I'm happy. I'm anxious because it means I'm getting out of my comfort zone and I'm going to be glad. So you are able to sort of flip the switch with lion's mane, and you start to look at scenarios like this as opportunities. You start to see the opportunity in everything and how it's going to help you long term. So I really like lion's mane just for overall calmness. It's good. Alpha GPC, 1,200 milligrams by itself. That's a whole lot of alpha GPC. Wow. And a cup of black coffee is pre-workout better than actual pre-workout. Yep, I'm actually starting to see. Oh, one sec. Like, this is another really just good pre-workout product. Not sponsored or anything, but by German pharma. They sent it out to me. Again, like no affiliation otherwise. They put 500 milligrams of alpha GPC, 1 gram of L-Tyrosine. They actually put pink Himalayan salt and some vitamin B12, some other stuff. And like, I think it's that dose of alpha GPC, 500 milligrams, more than what I would typically take. But like, I really like this product. It's not even that loaded up on caffeine, but this is one of my favorite pre-workout products right now. It's called the Ultimate Pre-Workout by German Pharma. I got the Cotton Candy Blast. Tastes great. Really like it, and it's not too overloaded with unnecessary ingredients. It took almost 1 month. Now just amazing with verbal fluency. I think that he's referring to Aniracetam. Some good stuff. And guys, yeah, I appreciate everyone's support. Thanks for dropping a like for those of you who did it. Best thoughts on... I've not tried it. Actually, maybe I tried it once or twice. Let me get back to you on that. Best healthy fats. Have a mix, but fish oil for sure. Get some omega-3s. Don't get confused and get on omega-3, 6, and 9. I see people make that mistake. The goal is to have a good balance between your omega-3s and your omega-6. That ratio is important, and we already have enough omega-6 in our diet. We don't have enough omega-3. So definitely consume some good quality fish oil. Take at least 1 teaspoon a day. If you're getting in the capsules, like the soft gels, 1 is not enough. Yeah, you're right. It goes well with my sleep. I still have lucid dreams sometimes. Cool. I am trying Fidogia agrestis at very small amounts every day. Haven't noticed anything from it yet. Aniracetam plus choline works for me with speaking. Alpha GPC helps connect words for me. Wow, that's really interesting. It's nice kind of analysis of the different ways of speaking in general. I saw heavy science articles showing that ginkgo biloba makes blood thinner and cause bleeding. Now I'm afraid of taking my bottle. That may just because of the fact that ginkgo has been around for so long that there is so much research done on ginkgo, because I can assure you it's 100% that there's other nootropics out there that do have the same negative side effects. It's just that it really hasn't been discovered, or hasn't been necessarily like tested and found. Like fish oil, if you take it in high enough amounts, it is the exact same thing. And egg yolks too, actually. When I was on keto, I was eating a lot of egg yolks, and my nose just kept on bleeding. It was bad. For anxiety, what's the question? If you're asking about nootropics for anxiety, we spoke a little bit about lion's mane, bacopa. Noopept is actually not so bad too. L-Theanine, but my favorite always being ashwagandha. I think like for anybody that's suffering with really, really bad anxiety, like definitely give ashwagandha a shot. The KSM 66 is good because it's a good balance between decreasing anxiety levels, but also increasing courageousness, drive, making you want to work. It's good. Andrew Huberman says, take 400 milligrams of Tonkat. I saw in your videos you recommend 200 milligrams. What do you recommend now? Adam's asking that like as if Andrew Huberman would change my mind. Are you crazy? No, he didn't change my mind. So I still think 200 milligrams is a good serving. I think it's more than enough. I think if you don't, I'd be surprised if anyone doesn't respond to 200 and then responds to 400. You're definitely going to respond to 200. Otherwise, you won't respond to it at all. So 200 milligrams is good. It's not overkill, and you'll see results, especially with strength training. It will help you to bust through plateaus. It's pretty powerful when you first start taking it. But now I have actually not taken, Tonkat Ali for probably about a month. I'm just taking some time off of it. Let's see how it goes. What are your thoughts on St. John's wort? I don't like it because it can actually induce psychosis with some people and can trigger mania. And just given my past and having episodes, I'd rather stay away from St. John's wort. So I just got the caution with that one. And I don't hear many people say that it does actually help them with their mood. Where St. John's wort is supposed to have a good reputation is for mood stabilization, but I don't think it's too effective. Do you think ND will eventually have the racetams back in stock? I don't think it will happen for the next 6 months. That's just my thoughts. Piracetam daily, choline daily. Also, which multivitamin do you take? So the multivitamin that I take is called True Hope, like one word, True Hope. If you look them up on Google, they've got they also do have choline, like the good mix of vitamins, minerals, some good stuff for joint health. So, but it's pretty expensive. And Piracetam daily, I believe I'm taking 750 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day, along with 150 milligrams to 200 milligrams of alpha GPC. Today, I took a little bit more extra alpha GPC because I was going to do this live stream and I got some evening work to take care of. Maybe I'll shoot some Instagram reels. That's what I'm doing now, and it's pretty fun. Different challenge, like short-term content. For all of you who aren't following me on Instagram, either follow my the Nootropic Reviewer page or follow my other account, Michael Dougal Toronto, my name and then Toronto, and I post a lot of stuff like self-development, sales skills, morning mindset exercises. We talk about a lot, like just growing as a person. Recommendations for magnesium supplements. I have found great effects from Micromag. Yeah, that's a good one. Like I mentioned earlier, Magtine was rolled out by Nootropics Depot only last year or maybe the year prior, and really, really good. Just a little bit expensive, but the stuff works. Is Go-To Cola useful and have any nootropic effects? Mixed opinions on this. Some people say it helps with sleep. Some people say it helps with anxiety. I know some people that actually say it helps with fitness. I don't think it's effective. In fact, I don't feel good with it. Just something feels off. So you got to try that one for yourself. If you don't like fasting, is infrequent use of Mucuna Pruriens a better option than L-Tyrosine? I think no, because Mucuna Pruriens, what commonly people say is they just don't feel it working. And even at very high doses of Mucuna Pruriens, you may not feel it working. With L-Tyrosine, don't get it twisted. Although I say like it's more effective when you're fasted, it will still work well if you take it like 1 hour after a meal. I wouldn't have it like with the meal. Unless maybe if it's a low protein meal, then maybe you'll notice it working. But even 45 minutes there afterwards, I think it's better. Have you taken Concerta in a fasted state? Oh yeah, all the time. Like Fallon's Fox, I got more than enough experience with Concerta. Just feel free to message me. It's really interesting stuff. Your processing speed is quicker. You can read quicker. I remember like this was 5 or 6 years ago, and I was with my assistant in the room, and just the way I calculated something, just mental math, it was so fast. She like thought I was on drugs, and I was, but I didn't tell her. And that's how it is. Your brain is faster on all in like just every way possible. You're talking to people and you can remember a story that directly relates to whatever they're talking about. It's pretty crazy. So Tonkat Ali versus Tribulus. I know you made a video on it, but a quick recap. Tonkat Ali going to be better for body composition. Tribulus going to be better for cognition, sleep, all those things we talk about as far as it being a nootropic. But the vendor of that one really does matter. So with Tribulus, I like the brand which I've mentioned, that now is good. 1 gram before bed to start, and then after you get accustomed to it, if you want to try a little bit more, you can consider taking 1 gram in the evening before bed, and then another gram right in the morning, perhaps pre-workout, that as well. Good creative supplement to compete with lion's mane. Ashwagandha still works pretty good for people because it does decrease anxiety so significantly that there's no energy drains. You're feeling pretty good. You're feeling vibrant. It's nice. And I would avoid stimulants altogether. Just avoid them or take them in the morning, and then in the evening, if you need a little bit of energy, don't consume more caffeine. Rather, take a nap. That'll give you some physical energy for you to do whatever you need, and you'll get pretty creative. It's pretty cool. L-Tyrosine can be used every day or need to be cycled. We talked about this earlier. You can use it every day, or I could use it every day. Depends on the individual. Any experience with neurofeedback? What's that device? You put it on your forehead and it can read it can read the brain waves. It's not coming to me now, but I used that for a couple weeks. It's pretty fun, but it's really hard to see if, like, where it could be useful in your daily routine. So would be more interested in it if there's some sort of practical way that I don't have to spend a whole ton of money to go to some place where they could read my brain. And yeah, I think like most people. Have you tried the carnivore diet? No, I haven't. I've tried what have I tried? Keto, of course. Like I tried keto over 10 years ago before most people knew about it. Intermittent fasting. I mentioned the PSMF. Low carb, high carb, medium carb, eating clean, eating raw foods. Tried that, and tried no meat and no caffeine after I went to Tony Robbins seminar in 2018. And it was interesting just having that experience, not being on caffeine for a whole straight year. And it did what you'd expect it to do. Like my physique wasn't as good, my workouts weren't good. Like everything just required more effort and willpower. But I'm sure that one way it did help was I had very stable energy levels and probably decreased anxiety. What do you think about drinking water in plastic bottles? I don't know much about this topic. That's for another YouTuber. Have you used Jewel and back training to improve your memory? I haven't. I've seen other people do it. This is cool, guys. This is rapid. Keep it rapid. Keeps me stimulated. Good nootropic for brainless note taking. Caffeine, it's going to be the best. You're fast. You can react quickly. You can just write things down. You'll notice when you take stimulants, you actually want to be writing things down in the first place and doing things. You get that nice just happiness rush. It's cool. Muse, that's the one. So Muse is one which you can, for over here, it's like $250 to $300. And what so is you put it on your forehead, like you dampen your forehead just a little bit. You put it on, you put on some headphones. They've got an application, and it actually does give you feedback as far as how your meditation is. The goal with meditating is to lower the number of thoughts you have. And with this device, what it does, it's pretty crazy. What it does is, as you're doing it, the lower the number of thoughts you have, because it can read it, the lower the sound of the rainfall. So there's like rain falling, right? And when you're doing it right, you don't hear any rain. And then as soon as you like have a stupid thought or something comes up, man, it's a thunderstorm. It's pretty crazy, but it's like a nice thing to try for a couple of days. Then you'll get bored of it, or that's been my experience from people I've talked to. Stuff that requires learning and not so much execution. Man, I said rapid fire Q&A, but I still want some proper grammar punctuation here. Is this a question? Come on. Any good supplement stacks with Concerta? The key with Concerta is master and understand what like the evening, because you're going to feel that Concerta crash. It's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. So that being said, what can work? It's not too different than the feeling you would get during a caffeine crash. It's just worse. You'll feel irritable. You may feel a bit depressed. So I would recommend you take some L-Tyrosine if it's not too late, like 750 milligrams to 1 gram. Drink a whole lot of water and consume alpha GPC. See, back then when I was using Concerta, 2015-ish, 2014 a little bit, I wasn't exposed to alpha GPC, but that would be a no-brainer for me now of using that out. Yeah, that definitely use a good source of choline, even various forms of choline. You could try that. How does your friends and fam feel / think about your nootropics? Man, my family, they're all taking nootropics too. And I'm just joking. Like, it's cool because a lot of the nootropics that I respond well to, my dad responds well to as well. So my dad's been using Quality of Mind, like, for years anyways. He's had this subscription. He can afford it. But otherwise, my mom wanted to try Bacopa, and she's liking that so far, just I think for mood. And as far as friends, I mean, I don't know. I don't really ask them. If they look me up and they see the channel, very often they're like, wow, Mike, I got to get on that. This is really cool. So that's commonly what happens. And like, I think Will, like, this as a YouTuber, you just kind of get in the habit of not really caring what people think, whether it's good or it's bad. You're just, doing your thing and it's fun. What nootropics would you recommend for social experiences and having subjects to talk about? Lion's Mane, 100%. Lion's Mane, you'll be wanting to interact with the person. Second, you'll actually ask them good questions because you're genuinely curious about them. So it helps you to kind of like slow things down, being a bit intentional about connecting with this person and having this mindset like, I'm going to know this person in the future. So I want to know everything about them, right? So it's cool. Thoughts and feelings about Kratom and Kava. We've talked a bit about Kratom. I've not tried Kava enough, but I understand that it's one of the best things you can take for anxiety. You ever notice the loss of sex drive on the RAS times? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, most nootropics out there, I've not had that experience where anything has actually hurt my sex drive. Actually, if anything, there's some things which have helped. Hey, why my name Anita team is good. Not sure what you're talking about, but I'm trying to acknowledge all comments here. I love caffeine, but it makes me crash times 1,000%. How do I avoid that? I think that's why I use and then stop. Love it and hate it. Okay, there's a few things you can try here. I mean, the first thing is don't put important work during the time that you crash. I hate the caffeine crash too, but at least I know when it comes. So for me, what I'll do is I'll take my pre-workout with a whole lot of caffeine. 30 minutes later, I'll hit my workout. And then by the time I ingest my caffeine and finish my workout, it's been 2 hours, which means I can usually get a good 90 minutes of work done. I noticed. So Will really identified for you when the crash happens. And that's what I like so much about taking caffeine like once or maybe twice a day, because of the fact you'll be able to time when the crashes happen. And then it becomes really important. You just don't work. Don't even put any work there. You need to give your head some time to just, recharge, right? So walk your dog, go take a nap. And then sooner, after what, then energy levels will come up. With respect to nootropics, you may want to consider taking L-Tyrosine during that time when you experience the energy crash. And what's so is, if you like strategically take breaks during your work after consuming caffeine, you'll find that the crash is not all that bad. It's just that with caffeine, you don't want to take breaks. You just want to power through, grind through, put in all your energy towards something, and then you end up not taking a break and you experience this bad energy crash there afterwards. I haven't noticed anything like with nootropics. Alpha GPC I thought would help. Rhodiola Rose I thought would help. Nope. But if you absolutely have to work during that time you experience the crash, then L-Tyrosine will be really, really good. Top 3 books, self-development. Psycho-Cybernetics is great. Think and Grow Rich, I guess that's a classic. And I'm reading Principles by Ray Dalio. I'm really liking that one. Probably not my top 3 because I wasn't prepared for the questions, but those are the ones top of mind right now. I actually didn't notice a crash from Concerta yesterday. Granted, I wanted a really small dose. Yeah, that's awesome. And you're right. It is a small dose, because I remember when I was taking 27 mg, the person who prescribed it to me, they told me that their daughter was like, also on Concerta, and she couldn't respond to anything. She was taking the same dose as me. So 18 milligrams is very low. Hopefully you stay on that dose, and then take some time. Once you get accustomed to taking it every single day, then I would, Fallon's Fox, just take a couple days off of it, like a weekend off, just to see how you respond to it. And if the withdrawals aren't there and they're not too bad, then it might be something good for you long term. Habits to work productively and reduce distractions. Morning mindset routine is key. So wake up, get the 5-minute journal. You could look that up on Google, the 5-minute journal. That was brought up to my attention by through the book, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. 5-minute journal, write down 10 things that you're grateful for. Write down 10 things you want to get done during the day. Have a practice that you do at least 5 minutes of mindfulness meditation. Do a guided one if that's helpful for you. Pray if you're a God person. And then be sure to hit a good workout. The workout is so key. You can just do the workout, and that's more important than anything else that I mentioned. And whatever that needs being done, of course, in the morning, like taking your dog for a walk, get that done too. And then be very intentional about your work there after your workout. Have you found Tribulus to vary from brand to brand? 100%. That's why I mentioned the Now Sports. Other common things like exercise, diet, meditation, what non-supplemental things have had a major impact on cognition? Exposing myself to newer things. So for instance, that was one of the main reasons why I got a dog. I was not a dog person. I didn't know anyone with a dog. Nobody in my family had a dog, but it's just the drive to keep on learning. So I've tried learning a couple of languages as well. I've tried different forms of exercise. You can put it's really important that you get that in your schedule. And this is one of the greatest things about travel. It's all novel experiences. So that, and then we haven't talked about reading. Reading is key. I think I have read every self-development book out there, and I've noticed over the past few years, there's really just poor books being published. The overall quality of books is much lower. I've just read a lot, and I got pretty obsessed with reading self-development books in younger 20s, and I think that probably helped me out. And do you cycle caffeine? If so, for how many days? So, I actually don't, similar to L-Tyrosine. I can take it every single day, and I don't have any sense of tolerance buildups. 50 milligrams of caffeine will still get me really energetic and physically energized and alert and all that good stuff. Quitting Vyvanse, what are a few supplements that could help take place of that? I'm so glad you asked this question, because in 2 weeks, I'm covering this specifically, Vyvanse, the side effects and how to come off of them. I would recommend you watch the video, How to Overcome Adderall Withdrawals. I've talked about that in depth and kind of the long form explanation. So watch that video, and if it's still not answered, then get back to me. Quality of Mind, one and done. Not sure what that means, but I love Quality of Mind. I took Quality of Mind a couple of days ago with the vitamin B and just everything, and I felt really good. So I actually I don't necessarily like Quality of Mind first thing in the morning. I like it in the afternoon. If I need a bit of an energy kick, if I got to get my work done, then I'm really enjoying it. And I think they're really intelligent in the way they formulated that product. That product is just for productivity, getting stuff done. It may not be the best stack for learning things, but execution. That's why they intentionally didn't have, or they don't have lion's mane there. They also don't have ashwagandha. They know what those two ingredients are, right? But they understood that we need to make a formula that is going to help people get stuff done. Nice. Yeah, lion's mane. Make sure you use my discount code and get the 8-to-1. That's the best one. Would you recommend taking Tonkat Alley, Tonkat and ashwagandha at the same time, or cycle each of them separately? I want to improve my libido, but I also like the anti-anxiety effects of ashwagandha. I don't see anything wrong with taking them together. There's no magic like synergy that happens when you consume them both together. Just try them individually first. Make sure that you respond to them. Okay, so use ashwagandha for a week straight. Then afterwards, use Tonkat Alley for a week straight. If you feel okay taking them, you know you don't have any negative side effects, then I think you're okay using them both together. And it doesn't make a difference whether you take them at the same time or take them at a different time of the day. They're both pretty cool like that. Best stack for guitar players like practice and live playing. Because I've gotten used to playing the piano for at least like 20 minutes a day. But when I first got my piano, I was playing it for several hours a day. I've been playing it since like early 2021. What I found helpful for me is actually avoiding stimulants. I find that I can recall things better. I can execute better. Just things seem to flow well. So as long as your energy levels are there, it's good. And use some Bacopa, because Bacopa is going to be good for learning retention, good for good for recall. Also kind of good for execution, depending on the individual. And if you have Noopept, I would take some Noopept too if you just need some drive to want to play in the first place, because Bacopa isn't gonna make you want to take action very often. So you take a little bit of Noopept, you'll get the drive to get on your guitar, and then Bacopa has those properties that would actually make it such that you could learn things faster and play. Where are we? I'm late to this, but anything you recommend for focus and memory? Memory, we talked about Bacopa, we talked about Pramiracetam. For focus, caffeine and L-Theanine, that's really good. Caffeine, L-Theanine, and alpha GPC, those are good. We already talked about this. What's with all these questions regarding Adderall? If you could take only one nootropic blend supplement, which one would you take? It's going to be Quality of Mind. It's the most expensive, but it's the most powerful one. And if you just look at the ingredient profile on it, the supplement facts, like there are so many ingredients. They've done an amazing job. Looking for, hey Mike, I just started taking Pramiracetam. Cool, Lewis. I'd be curious to know why you're taking it. A lot of people just stop because Pramiracetam prices are way up. Hey Mike, I just started taking Pramiracetam and it's working great for me, but I'm worried about safety long term. How long do you take it and for how often? So I've been using the Racetams, no exaggeration, for at least 2022, like 8-9 years. Very little time off. I mean, those four which I talk about: Pramiracetam, Oxiracetam, Aniracetam, Pramiracetam. No side effects. Like nothing crazy has happened to me. It's not hurt me in any way that I can find. But it's just speaking from my experience. So I think you're okay with those ones. The one which is important for you to take a little bit of time off every here and there would be Oxiracetam. And the way that I've talked about cycling on and off them is something like 3 months on or 2 months on, followed by 2 weeks off, just depending on how cautious you want to be, and then rotate that. And of course, be sure to consume it with choline. Do you think that controlled and strategic use of psychedelics can enhance IQ or self-awareness, maybe getting more access to the subconscious mind? Nope, I think they are horribly overrated, and they should only be taken in a controlled environment. There are other things. I think psychedelics are something you can maybe consider after you practice mindfulness meditation a lot. Like you have really disciplined yourself to do it. I'm talking an hour a day. Like I did an hour a day for a good year. Then maybe you can get to the stage where you actually deserve to try something else. I can't remember to do a morning routine when I wake up. That's why I came, man. A morning routine, like the morning routine is like brushing your teeth. I will not go one day without doing my morning routine. It doesn't matter who's calling me, who's texting me. They can all wait. Like you have to get yourself first. And Mr. Will J. Moore, you deserve to love yourself. Treat yourself well. Not sure if you want to talk more. Nope, I don't. What's your recommended execution stack? Execution stack. Okay, so Pramiracetam is great. Aniracetam is great. Noopept, and I'm just giving you a stack as far as what would help me to boost my productivity the most. So Pramiracetam, Aniracetam, Oxiracetam, Pramiracetam, Noopept, alpha GPC, L-Tyrosine if you really need an increased amount of energy, but those are the best ones. And notice I talk a lot about the Racetams because I used the Racetams before I got really interested in many other forms of nootropics. Like for those of you who have watched this channel for a long time, you know, like the first nootropics that I tried, I mean, outside of caffeine and L-Theanine, was Pramiracetam and choline. It was Pramiracetam and centrophenoxine. Have you ever tried Eleuthero? What is Eleuthero again? Is there any synergistic effect with Noopept and caffeine? Nope, I don't think so. I think if anything, caffeine will make the Noopept a little bit less noticeable. Noopept being very good in the afternoon, evening. It's good stuff. I'm new to all this. I'm a bit young. I used to be a bit smart and focused. Now I'm super lazy and stupid. Any advice? Yeah, the morning routine. Get in a habit when you can actually get up and work out. You just working out will take care of your ambition and your desire to want to get things done. And take a good look at your environment. Are you surrounding yourself with people that are bringing you up, or they're preventing your progress? And that can make a big difference. Maybe like change your job, get into sales. Sales is like the best industry ever. You're just forced to grow as a person. Want to meet better people, want to learn new things, ask better questions, present yourself in a better way. Supplement to lower cortisol but not demotivate you. Phosphatidylserine, great one. Avoid taking too much caffeine. Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah, Lewis is speaking about Pramiracetam. He takes it for focus. It's amazing for focus. Yeah, you're able to deal with the, like the repetitive, boring tasks when you're taking Pramiracetam consistently. It's good. Have you ever tried Egyptian Blue Lotus? Nope. Would be curious to know more about it. It's definitely got an interesting name. Hey, but thanks for all the videos you make. Thank you. And thanks for letting me know that you're appreciating them. Sometimes I put out this content. I don't even always know if it's useful or not, especially when I get videos which don't have too many views. Like I could go in the direction of just talk about ashwagandha and modafinil, but I put out some niche stuff too. So it's nice knowing that you find value. So guys, always be sure to let me know, because I do look at every single comment out there. And my last video, I talked about 50 takeaways, and the people who actually watched it, like the views are very low on it, but the people who watched it were all like, this is the best video ever. And they were engaged for the full 17 minutes. So give that a watch if you haven't seen it yet. Have you tried black ant extract? What did you notice? I don't think I have. Black ant extract. Maybe. If I did, then once or twice. I think I noticed a bit of alertness, but I'm not sure if that was the specific one. How do I pick up fat girls? Man, that's for another YouTube channel. I do not know. Best stack for MCAT success with a 3-month timeline. Chosen one. There's two videos that you may want to watch. One is going to be the best nootropics for studying, and the second one would be best nootropics for exam cramming. And you'll watch it. You'll get the routine down. So make sure to watch those, and then you'll understand how to put it in your practice and where to start. Best supplements for libido and better performance. First, make sure that you're not deficient on anything. So get a good blood test done. Make sure your thyroid's good, your testosterone levels are good, your vitamin B, your vitamin D. And then of course fix that. What really helps me when it comes to libido, first, that's safe. Tribulus, taking Tonkat Alley, that's a good one. Of course, staying hydrated. Really get your diet right. Because some people just, even if they're consuming enough calories, let's say if they needed to consume 2,000 calories, if they're on a low carb diet, they just have low libido levels, or if they're on a low fat diet. So master nutrition. And then as far as better performance, we've talked about a lot of nootropics that can help with focus. If you can tell me more context, like what kind of work you're doing, then we can provide some insight. Do you cycle L-Theanine? When I was taking it, no, and I don't think that you need to. I have found, just from reading all the comments and connecting with many of you, probably 50% of people need to cycle off of L-Theanine, whereas some people, they start to feel worse when they're taking too much of it. Should I take lion's mane and other mushroom nootropics on an empty stomach with black pepper, or better absorb? Nope, I think the whole black pepper thing is horribly overrated. Anyone here is welcome to comment if you've experienced otherwise, but for those of you who don't understand, like, nootropic blends also often have black pepper extract, as it supposedly should increase the absorption and the potency and the effectiveness of the nootropic. That hasn't been my experience, and most people's experience either. And as well, I talked about that more in the last video I put out. What time do you sleep and wake up? Depends on the day. And what kind of work I'm doing. When I was in sales, it was like 5:30 a.m. I'd wake up every day. Now I'm more of like a night owl because I got creative content. I gotta connect with my my team of my main assistant. I got VAs in Philippines, Nepal, Pakistan, India. Actually, a couple people in the Philippines. So the time zone's all like that. Hey, Mike, whenever taking Noopept, should it always be accompanied with alpha GPC? So I take 2 caps of Noopept, then I should take out 2 caps of alpha GPC. Depends on you. I would say yes. I don't think you need to take 2 caps of alpha GPC, because that would be 300 milligrams of alpha GPC. And if you're taking that several times a day, it's probably too much alpha GPC. With alpha GPC, you need to find what works for you. Experiment a little bit. But my understanding with alpha GPC is the capsules are 150 milligrams if you're getting it from Nootropics Depot. So 1 capsule is good. I think if you take 2 caps of Noopept, then that's good. But a more effective way you'll probably feel Noopept working is by taking like 10 to 20 milligrams just right under your tongue, and you don't need to take as many capsules. It's more affordable that way too. Man, I don't know. Somebody go find him. YouTube it's like super anonymous. There's no way to DM people. There's no way to like look them up. It's anonymous. So we don't know where Mr. Owen Wu is. But Owen, if you're watching this, we're thinking about you. We care about you, and we respect you, and we hope you're well. Deer antler extract. So deer antler extract, yes, I've tried that one. It supposedly can be good for boosting testosterone levels. And it was interesting because the first 30 days I used it, it worked. I took a break. I got back on it. I didn't notice it as much. It's like it only kind of worked that one time, sort of like NSI 189. Just give me a second, guys. I'm just readjusting this and my posture. What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? I like learning, just anything learning. I like getting stuff done. I like winning. I like putting myself in competitive scenarios. I love watching sports. I'm a big soccer fan, and I love to exercise. I exercise every day, even though I shouldn't. Never stop making videos, man. I've gained so much knowledge from you. Lots of respect for you. Thank you very much. That's good to know. And you as well. I'm sure you got something out there you can offer the world that you should put out there on YouTube. Make a channel. It's not too late. What's your experience with Stanch? We talked about that earlier, so I'm going to skip through that one. Black ants. Nope, I haven't tried it. How would you survive if you were stuck in a sewer for life? Source of food, accommodation, exercise. I would hope that I wouldn't be alone and we could mastermind and brainstorm about it together. In my opinion, a substance probably isn't great if you need black pepper to absorb it. That's interesting. I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on that. Any recommendations for content creators, something that may help be social, like solo on camera or while meeting guests, and helpful for motivation and drive to create things? Something that may help be social. So when it comes to actually being on camera, I would try L-Theanine, see how you respond. Lion's mane, I would try ashwagandha, see how you respond to caffeine. Like I actually don't do well when I take caffeine and I get on camera. I'll be just wanting to spend my hour trying to optimize the actual camera and getting the right lighting. You're just too distracted. It's never a good thing. Of course, hydrate. When it comes to helpful for motivation and drive to create things, that goes back to just the morning mindset routine, just kind of committing to getting it done and build up the habit for it to happen. It's just when it comes to content creators, people don't realize all the work we have to do in terms of like making sure our camera is charged, making sure it has the right lens, making sure our audio is in the right place. Like just build up the habit. So for me, like all my stuff is literally right next to me in a drawer and I know what to do. And I have several like micro SIM cards. I mean, what's that? Like I have like a whole like I have tons of these just because all the footage has to go somewhere, yet I still buy more because I don't want to go back and erase stuff to make space for it. So make the habits easier for yourself. I'm sorry that probably wasn't the answer that you were looking for when it came to nootropics. So I'll give that more thought. I don't really think it's like there's any game-changing stack necessarily for content creators. I think whatever helps you focus, get stuff done, be present, reduce anxiety, and time blocking is huge. Like just getting it in your schedule when you're not going to have distractions. So let everyone know around you that you're making video. This is your time. Get some accountability. Tell them to leave you alone, or just be a night owl and like shoot the stuff at 9 or 10 p.m. or whenever you can be totally present with it. Have you tried Bromontane? Videos coming out on that next week. Best stack for picking up girls wouldn't even be a stack. It would be lion's mane. Lion's mane, I would avoid L-Tyrosine and I would avoid anything that can increase anxiety. But the way that lion's mane like decreases anxiety, makes you want to connect with people, oh man, it's not even a snack you need. It's just exclusively lion's mane. Would alpha GPC be good? Would be good to remedy mood after coming down from Noopept? No, when it comes to come downs, I think that rhodiola rosea is going to be probably the best thing out there. It's going to fight fatigue. It's going to fight just lack of concentration. It's also going to suppress your appetite a little bit and boost your physical energy. So that one being very good. But when it comes to like a caffeine crash, rhodiola rosea doesn't help too much. Then it's more of a time for you to use something like L-Tyrosine. As a fellow YouTuber, do you watch YouTube? Asking for productivity. A lot of successful YouTubers I know don't watch it at all, even though they make content. Yeah, Will J. Moore, I will admit, I'm never on YouTube. I don't watch YouTube. YouTube is not my place to go to learn things. Like when I chose EXP, which was the office that I work with selling whole houses, everybody else watched like the YouTube videos prior to them joining. I didn't, even though they sent me the video. So Me necessarily, no, but the exception of that when I am actually on YouTube is, let's say, just by audio. When there's something there, mindset, podcast, I'll typically just have the audio in. Maybe when I'm like driving somewhere or getting ready, perhaps then I would use it. But if I am watching a YouTube video, it's usually on ×2 speed. Like those are mine too. I already talk very fast, but for those of you like watch my watch my stuff on ×2. You'll if you're not accustomed to watching content, you just want to read things. I don't make blogs out there, so yeah, that's a really interesting insight I had as a YouTuber. Like I'm not even on YouTube. Pretty cool. Now I'm getting a little bit more used to Instagram. Just having fun there. Have you tried Shilajit? And if you go to if I have a good brand / source, I think it's called Cultivate Elevate, and it's the dropper form. So I've tried Shilajit. It decreases stress a little bit, maybe slight boost of energy, but nothing that's going to be a game changer. Nothing that makes it really important for you to keep on purchasing. What are you on right now? Nothing really. I haven't tried. I haven't taken anything since probably like 5 or 6 hours. If I was to take anything though, I'll take something now. I'll take some of this Phosphatidylserine because that's pretty good. Keeps the energy up. And what's that, guys? So what I did take those several hours ago was I took Bacopa, I took Rhodiola rosea, I took a little bit of ashwagandha, I took Pramiracetam and some Noopept, and that was really good. And then after this, I'll take my multivitamin. I'll take some vitamin D, some fish oil, and then I'll get my meal in. Working night shift, does taking alpha GPC help? Absolutely. Alpha GPC is just like fuel. It will give you the mental energy, the mental clarity you need, because as we go through our day, what happens is we experience stress stories, bad things happen, and then we're we have these and we aren't able to lower the number of thoughts we have, be present. We're taking that forward with us through the rest of the day. So I like alpha GPC regardless. Like I think the longer your day goes, the more frequently you can consume alpha GPC that way. If you could do another creative YouTube channel, what would it else be on? I talk about selling houses and the market here in Toronto if you just search at my first and last name. But if I was to do something, I would probably do like Michael Dougal, like kind of reaction to songs. Like I love music. I know almost every song out there in the past 10 years that was popular. I love hip hop. I love dancehall. I love R&B. So maybe if like new songs came out, I could see myself kind of doing like a reaction to this song. Those channels seem pretty cool and they're pretty easy to grow. 9E, we're going to skip this one. What's the best supplement to create a synergistic effect for Vyvanse and help with the side effects when it wears off? L-Tyrosine and Bacopa, 750 milligrams of L-Tyrosine and about 200 milligrams. Sorry, not Bacopa, alpha GPC and L-Tyrosine. So something like L-Tyrosine, depending on how you respond to it, for me, 750 milligrams is good. And then alpha GPC, 200 milligrams. With L-Tyrosine, it's interesting because you can take more. You won't notice it being more effective. It's just that it will last longer. So with 1 gram, for instance, you'll be able to focus for 2 hours straight, or that's for most people. Like a lower dose, it's still just as effective, just doesn't work for as much time. Have you ever delved into? Nope, I have not. Thoughts on Gorilla Mind Lock and Load? What is that product about? Because they sent me a bunch of products and I have not gotten that one from them. I'd be curious to know more about it. Have you tried fasoracetam and use cases you found it for? I did try fasoracetam. I actually liked it. It's pretty good for alertness, memory. I did find myself a little bit more productive. I'm glad you brought that one up because I'm about to make a big Nootropics Depot order. Discount code is below in the description, and so I'm probably going to get that one again. Thanks for reminding me. It's not bad. My current understanding of black pepper is that it inhibits the detox process of the liver. It is common in turmeric supplements. Very cool. Rhodiola is amazing. 100%. It's always been in my top 5. Always been in my top 5. Nalt versus tyrosine. Great question. Timmy's asking. Nalt stands for N-acetyl L-tyrosine. It's like a variant of tyrosine that's not as effective at all. So for that reason, I like tyrosine. Tyrosine lasts longer. You can feel it working. You get a good increase of energy levels. With Nalt, the only thing that's nice about it is that it hits you very quickly. Like when you ingest Nalt, you can feel it within 5 minutes. With L-tyrosine, you typically have to wait a good half hour. And with Nalt, like you take it, you'll feel it, but you don't feel anything like 45 minutes there afterwards. Whereas L-tyrosine, it actually lasts for a long time, so it will get you through a good workout. Since you don't watch content, I'm assuming that you have a good relationship to dopamine, not indulging in simple things that spike it, like basic social media content. I need a dopamine detox. Perhaps I mean, if there's good education stuff out there, like perhaps like while eating a meal, you could watch a meal, but you can also go on YouTube and look at some education. That's how I learned a lot about like YouTube, the back end, how to rank on the algorithm, all that. There's a lot of YouTube stuff out there. So I did forget about that when I answered your question. But yeah, dopamine detox. Yeah, we need some time being bored. There's too much stimulation and too much information out there. I think we all just need some time for ourselves and to love ourselves. What's your experience with Alcar? Is it a good to go with caffeine? Pre-workout, perhaps. There could be some synergy there. Depends on the individual. I would say it's better to take if you're somebody who can afford it. But if you're kind of just being mindful of only taking 5 to 10 nootropics max, then I wouldn't touch Alcar. I think it's pretty overrated. B, why did I skip you? Oh, because you asked the question that's been asked like 5 or 6 times. Sorry about that. What are your thoughts on Humber Bay Area in Toronto real estate? Seems like there'll be a lot of developments in the coming years, and the views by the lake are solid. The Humber Bay area, I think like most areas, it's going to go up in value if you look at it long term. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't buy over there. Thought process that went into reviews and reactions versus vlogs or other creative content. I don't get it. Thought process that went into reviews and reactions and versus vlogs or other creative content. If you mean like just how I prepare for content itself, I do very little preparation, and probably that comes out in just as I talk. I have found that my videos are best when they're unscripted. I'm just talking. I like to add a lot of experience there, since people like that. They like the fact that I'm relatable, that I talk honestly, that I don't just talk about the science, because I am by no means as knowledgeable with like the mechanism of action of a lot of nootropics out there versus other people. So I like to talk about it in a practical way. I don't prepare too much. I like, let's say if it's a nootropic that I haven't tried though, then I'll look at some studies. I'll understand what the side effects are. Perhaps I'll look at some anecdotes, and that can help me out. Vlogs, yeah, just very, very little thought process paid attention towards. So it's very interesting because on Instagram, on my main channel, on like Michael Dougal Toronto, I'm just posting stuff all the time, stories, and you get more creative as you put in the reps. You put in the reps, make a lot of content, you'll get more creative and you'll get more confidence. Pretty cool. Is phenibut the most effective nootropic ever for stress? Probably for anxiety, it's good. I think where it's good is that you feel it straight away, not like ashwagandha. Ashwagandha will take a couple of weeks for it to start working. And then also with phenibut, it is so damn good for sleep. Like your sleep quality, it will really rise up, not only for that night, but probably the following night. It's pretty interesting. If you take a high dose of phenibut, it's 10:45 p.m. right now. Let's say if I were to sleep at 10. If I were to take a high enough dose, I would feel it tonight, and I'd also probably feel it tomorrow night. Like that's how strong it is for sleep. It's cool. It's cool. Do you think that taking 400 milligrams of ND's Tonkat is safe? 2 pills. I think it is, as long as you consume it with a meal. Whereas when people have a bad experience with Tonkat Alley, it's because they're having it fasted. Keep that in mind. Yeah, cool. Just go back to it, and I'll get timestamps most likely sometime tomorrow. I feel the effects of Tonkat Alley for the first few days of use. After that, I haven't felt anything. Was the placebo effect? Yeah, no, this has happened to a lot of people. You aren't the only one. I would, first of all, like, how long have you been using it for? I think you should, if you have the bottle, then most likely you can use it for a good month, and then you can evaluate that afterwards if you want to keep on taking it or not. Taking alpha GPC closer to bedtime messed up with your sleep cycle? No, it's pretty interesting that way. You'll see alpha GPC in sleep blends, sleep nootropic blends as well. I don't think it hurts your sleep quality, but of course, just try it, see how you respond to it, and it's good. Have you tried different sources of sustange? No, I haven't. That's a good question. Best thing for gallbladder sludge. Don't know much about it. Thanks. Didn't know about phenibut. Yeah, powerful sleep, stress, sleep, anxiety, especially. It's supposed to feel like alcohol. That's what they say. If you don't drink, take it. You'll feel the same way. But there's so much about the side effects that's talked about, and a lot of bad experiences. So you're going to be better off staying away from it unless you absolutely need it. When taking Noopept sublingually, would you just untwist the capsule and pour the powder under the tongue? Nope. And I mentioned this earlier. I wouldn't, because usually the capsules have fillers. So you want to get it in the powder form. You can still do it. It's okay. Do you track your sleep quality? I like the Oura Ring. Great success without it being distracted like Apple Watch. So I use both. Oh my God, I'm not even wearing my Apple Watch, but I have both. My Apple Watch is charging. So I have my Apple Watch, then I have my Oura Ring, and I like it. To what extent is it accurate? I don't know. It's just so strange, because anytime I eat close to bedtime, it messes up with my sleep quality so much. So there does come a point where I think, does it really matter? But what is cool is when you see how much REM sleep you're getting and how much deep sleep you're getting. It's neat. Has it made a big like a big shift to my productivity? It has, but not necessarily for the sleep quality, but for the HRVs, like the heart rate variability and how it tracks it. It's really, really interesting, and it just gives me an idea as far as like how long of a workout I can have, how long of a workday I can have, because that is all about, like, the HRV is really the best measure of how much stress you can handle during the day. So that's pretty cool. What do you think of chlorella? I didn't notice too much from it. I think it's one of those supplements like uridine or choline bitartrate. You probably won't notice much. Melatonin, because it's safer, but phenibut is good on those days when you take something like modafinil or like phenylparacetam, because you're gonna just be so alert. Your heart rate is gonna be up even in the evening. So I find that with phenibut, it's stronger. I like it. Best nootropics for someone who fasts. Oh wow, but most nootropics are actually okay to take on during a fasted period. So L-Tyrosine being great for energy levels, Bacopa, Rhodiola, Rosea. Most of the racetams, although some of them are fat soluble, they're still good. So the answer doesn't really change too much. But what is key when it comes to nootropics and fasting is understand which nootropics you should not be taking during a fasting period. Like, for example, Tonkat Ali, green tea extract, taking high amounts of fish oil, especially. How do you feel about alcohol? Do you drink? I mean, I did, like most people did in their late teen years. I was never like a beer drinker. I was like, rum, give me the rum, give me the hard stuff. But what's so is then now, I mean, I'll have like a glass of wine maybe once a month or so, and that's good. Yes, it was. No, I honestly, I thought my Apple Watch was on. It felt like it. Will you ever do a meet and greet in the future? Absolutely. If I know more people here, and like where they are, then I don't see why not. I'm in Toronto, but I'm gonna be in Florida in a week and a half, and then I'm gonna be in Dallas a couple months there afterwards. And I go to England once a year typically. So if I know where everyone is, then I can get a better idea. Right now, all that I know is that 40% of the viewers are in the US, and I think we got like 15% in the UK, and then it's like balanced between everywhere else. Any other nootropics that feels like alcohol without side effects? Phenibut really being the only one. Like, lion's mane is just like to a far lesser extent, because you feel that decreased anxiety. You feel pretty calm when you're taking it. But no, really nothing out there. Have you used beetroot powder? What did you notice? I did notice this in a nootropic blend. I wasn't sure why it was there. I didn't notice much from it, but it was interesting in that I saw it. And with that being said, that is a wrap. I appreciate all of you being here. Jake's letting me know where he's from. Very cool. And yeah, next week we got a video on bromontane coming up, and then there afterwards I talk about some nootropics to increase ambition. I appreciate you all. Be sure to give this a like, and thanks everyone for like Will J. Moore and some people, they tuned in from the whole beginning to the end. I appreciate you guys. I really sincerely did hope that you got value from this video, and stay tuned for the future live stream. I'll be doing this more often. Take care, guys. And bro.